This is the Homeowners Show. Whether you're DIY or looking to hire, we're here to bring you the best information and options for you and your home. I'm Craig Williams, and this is the Homeowners Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We have a really cool episode for you guys. We're going to be talking about solar power today, and I know a lot of you guys have been hearing a lot about this. You've been thinking about it as an option for your home, and so we're excited to bring you this information. As you may have noticed, Kevin is not with us. He is off at a football game, throwing flags at children. So he'll be back with us shortly, but he's having a good time doing some. Is it reffing? I think it's called reffing. But anyway, he's not here tonight, obviously, because he usually does the intro, and so tonight the intro was just done better. But anyway, just to keep you guys up to date as to what's going on in my house. Oh, weird! I got to tell you guys, last week when I told you guys peeling back the onion of my house, it could not have been more true. Many tears were shed this week as we peeled back some more layers. I got to tell you, whoever built this thing, man. I mean, we found like this significant damage in between the floors, and so we're having to deal with insurance companies and warranty companies, and I'm not going to name any of these companies. All of them have been great and kind and good to us. We just don't want you guys to get the impression that they're treating us poorly. But it's just going to be an expensive deal. Basically, here's what happened. Because my house, as many of you guys know, is weird, we were trying to redo the ceilings downstairs, and part of that was going to have to be relocating some ductwork in the house. So we were tracking down where the ductwork was going, and we came to a board, basically, and it was like the end of the line for the ductwork, and we couldn't figure out where it was going, so we took the sheetrock down and found that instead of being creative, they decided to cut a 12-inch hole through the floor joist and just continue the ductwork on through there, creating a nice structural integrity problem in my home. It was quite lovely to find that. So we're dealing with that. We're going to solve it because we've got lots of good connections here at the Homeowner Show. Lots of professionals just ready and willing to jump in and help solve our problems. And that's what we're here for you guys for as well. So if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook and all those fun platforms. So, but with us today, we got David, the Solar Pro from Sunpro. He's going to be talking to us about solar energy. This guy goes around and helps homeowners understand how solar works, how the financing works on that, how the taxes work on that, and all that stuff. And so we're going to be getting down into the nitty-gritty of this stuff with you guys tonight. David, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Greg.
Man,
thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. This is, I think this is probably like a really timely topic for a lot of homeowners because they're hearing a lot about this.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the news about how we need to move more to solar energy. We need to move more to wind energy. We need to, try and get off the grid as much as possible. Maybe not like in the woods, but like, just off the power grid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you guys explain to everybody. Well, let's just back up real quick. Tell everybody how you got into this.
So, back in 2010, I was a technician at a cell phone location for about 3 years.
Okay.
One of my customers that I helped several times, he was early 80s, told me gave me some great advice. He goes, David, I'm well off. I've been in the energy industry my whole life. Mm-hmm. I asked him, what advice would you give somebody my age, 20 at the time? What advice would you give me? He said, get into renewable energy. That is the way the world is going. At that time, me and my wife was my girlfriend at the time. I asked her, hey, there's nothing going on in Texas in regards to solar renewable energy. There is an institution in Colorado. Okay. How would you feel about going out there, while I pursue an education for 2 years? She was against it. So after the cell phone location, I went into home security sales. That's where I got more familiar with in-home sales. Okay. After 2 years from there, I decided, you know what? I'm going to look into how I could get into renewable energy. I got home, started Googling solar, renewable energy, found Sunpro. Okay. Sunpro needed somebody that were going to come into the territory, new from Houston, from Louisiana. So I was one of the original guys that they hired. And that was 4 years ago.
Okay. Awesome. And
Yes,
so you've
sir.
just been doing it ever since?
Ever since, yes,
awesome.
sir.
And you love it?
Yeah, definitely. I have about 350 homeowners that I have helped out since then. So it's very, very exciting. Love the interaction with the homeowners and really showing them the affordability and how they could eliminate their light bill initially for free, realistically.
Right. And does it cost anything to have you come out and do an evaluation for
No,
somebody?
not at all. Well, my job description is as a senior specialist, I go out there, perform the site survey. I take in consideration the trees, anything that's in the way that may prevent the production of the array. Take a look at the roof line, the integrity of the home, the lifestyle habits of the homeowner. So pretty much do a whole home energy audit, get a better understanding of what they are trying to accomplish. One of the biggest questions that homeowners have is how much is it? And it's a very hard question for anybody to answer if they don't know your kilowatt consumption.
Right.
Sometimes a homeowner will tell you, "Oh, my light bill's $200," or average home, or my home's this square feet. They fail to realize that it all depends on the lifestyle habits. I've been in homes that are 1,000 square feet that use 4,000 kilowatts a month. I've been in 4,000 square foot homes that use 1,000 kilowatts a month. It's realistically on the type of equipment, the efficiency of the home, the lifestyle habits. If they're going to work during the day, or somebody's working from home, stay-at-home mom, all those things are going to consideration when designing the system. After that, whatever the homeowner savings goal is that they're looking to accomplish, whether it's 50% savings, 75, or 100% offset, we could do whatever that they're looking to accomplish.
Right. And so what I hear you saying in that somewhat is it doesn't really matter. Like if someone calls you and said, "Listen, my energy bill is only $250 a month," like that's actually not really helpful information to you. What you need is you actually need the kilowatt consumption, in order to be able to generate what kind of system they need to sustain that usage.
Correct. So sometimes a homeowner would tell you, well, right now it's summertime, obviously.
Right.
I use 3,000 kilowatts. Well, we don't design a system to give you 3,000 kilowatts every single month.
Right.
Because in the winter, when you're only using 1,000 kilowatts, you're overproducing 2,000 kilowatts. So, if you're using 1,500 kilowatts, actually the average in the greater Houston area is 1,200.
Okay.
Depending on what the homeowner energy rate is, true cost, that's with all membership fees, delivery fees as well. Anywhere between 10 and 12 cents a kilowatt, that's about typically a $180, $200 light bill. And so, typical system's 30 panels, which is a 10 kilowatt system. That's what majority of the Houston homeowners get.
Okay. And so, and I would imagine, when you say I think somebody might hear that and go, well, I want a 3,000 kilowatt system. I want to make sure that I'm always covered. Why wouldn't you want that?
So it all depends
other than it just being extravagantly expensive.
Yeah,
obviously.
So I do have a homeowner in that situation where when I met him, he had the guard if it's a salesperson coming to sell me something at my home.
Right.
He tells me, "David, I use 2,500 kilowatts a month. That's what I want the system for." I go, "That's quite high. That's about 70 panels." He didn't want to show me his light bill. I go, "Look, let me show you what 70 panels cost is before and after the tax credits and see if it makes sense. And then from there, I'll take a look at your light bills. So that way you don't think I'm manipulating pricing to your consumption."
Sure.
So fair enough. We did exactly just that. We determined his average was actually 1,900 kilowatts. So he would only need, I believe, 50 panels at that time.
So 20 less than he was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes, "David, I still want 70. Okay. He decided to go with a cash option. We're also a roofing company, so he decided to go with a metal roof as well. So we were able to do a metal roof installation and then the 70 panel system. This was September 2017. I followed up with him 3 months ago. He has a $3,000 credit with CenterPoint. I would have preferred to save him, $20,000 with a smaller system, because you can always add on more panels when you need them. You can never buy less if you don't need them.
Right.
But he's happy. He loves it. It was what he's looking to accomplish.
Yeah.
So, no regrets in that aspect of it. But with CenterPoint or other majority of providers do not give you money back, physical money back.
Right.
The whole point is to offset your monthly average, so in the wintertime or the fall time, you're overproducing, building up these $5, $20 credits. So in the summer, when you use dramatically more than your average, you have about $300 worth of credits to cover the difference.
Right.
Now, it all depends on the utility provider, what the buyback rate is, that the payback term is.
Right.
In Texas, the average cash flow positive is 7 to 9 years.
Okay.
I do see some homeowners who think it's 15 years because that's how long the financing option is, depending if you go with that option. Or, majority of the companies offer a 25-year warranty, like we offer 25-year parts and labor. So, we program that so much into the homeowners' understanding of it that they think it takes 25 years to pay off the system.
Okay.
So realistically, it's about a 7 to 8 year cash flow positive.
Okay. And so 7 to 8 years cash flow positive. So are you breaking even for the most part over the 7 to 8 years? Is it, kind of bounce back and forth for some people?
It all depends on their rate. We're out here in Conroe, a little bit more towards Houston. There's another energy co-op company out there that when I first started 4 years ago, we're at 9.2 cents a kilowatt.
Okay.
Solar wasn't as big. There wasn't as many financing options. So we had 12 years. 2.99. So for majority of the homeowners had about a $10 to a $25 out-of-pocket difference for year 1, year 2, year 3. But fast forward now, rates with the same energy company are 11.4.
Right.
So those same homeowners who were out of pocket a little bit then are in pocket savings now.
Right.
Typically about 11 to 13 cents is a break-even point. All depending on what you're looking to accomplish.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you this, because 25 years, that's a pretty long time. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I recognize is like our technology specifically in this area is incentivized to change very quickly. So, over the course of 25 years, I would imagine solar technology is going to be completely different 10 years from now.
Not so much, because it's not like a cell phone where, every year is, 9, 8, 10, 11.
Right.
It's not like that. Solar, the technology has been the same since the 60s, since the 50s.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Around 2008, that's when they introduced the grid type systems. That's where they got rid of the battery backup options. That dropped the cost dramatically. They introduced microinverters as well, so that also dropped the cost dramatically. Since 2008, not much has changed. They're getting more efficient. The technology is getting a little bit better, but the whole thing, like with us, again, it's a 25-year warranty, parts and labor.
Right.
So and then it comes with a 25-year power production. So we already analyzed what the system is going to be producing for you in 25 years from now.
Right.
As much as it is year 1. There is different tiers of panels. The ones that we use deteriorate about 0.6% a year.
Right.
So even after 25 years, they're 86% productive.
Okay.
So it's not a big difference. It's not like a vehicle where they change the body style every 4 years and you want to upgrade it or stuff like that.
Yeah. I guess where kind of my brain was going is like, let's say, I've had my system for 15 years and something goes wrong with it and it breaks down, but like something technologically has changed. Mm-hmm. Am I going to get brought up to date at that point, or am I going to have to go back with the old equipment that I had before? I was happy with it, but hey, it's changed.
Yeah. So typically systems independent, like what we use is a microinverter system. So if something goes wrong, it may be one panel, one inverter, not the entire system. 15 years from now, it may be just that one panel, that one inverter.
Just real quick. I think that's something interesting to point out that I didn't know is that used to be the case. Is like if one thing went down, like the whole system went down.
That's what a string inverter system.
That's what it used to be.
Well, there's still two types of systems. There's a string inverter, which is kind of like the Christmas light effect, where if one has an issue, it affects the entire production.
Yeah, everybody hates those.
Yeah, and we use a microinverter system, which each panel independently has its own microinverter underneath the panel.
Right.
So there's not one point of failure. We're going to be able to identify which one's having the issue. And the manufacturer that we use is actually a batch serial number traceable. So if one ever fails with that same serial number, they're going to track it down, figure out why it had the issue, and then the other microinverters that had that same serial number will be replaced.
Okay.
So, that's a good thing about it. And it's smart technology, so they're constantly getting updates like your cell phone.
Right. Very cool. And so why is that why have microinverters been such a big deal in solar technology? How long have those been around?
The company that we use, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say they started off in 2006, 2008, if I'm not mistaken. And now, realistically, there's two major brands out there. I don't know if we can name drop, manufacturers or anything like that.
You can do what you want.
Yeah. So
I'm not doing it.
So there's two different brands. Excuse me. There's two different brands out there. They realistically own majority of the market out there. So if you're going with string inverters, you're going with that one brand. If you're going with micro, you're going with the other brand.
Okay. Interesting. And is there a cost benefit to one versus the other?
Typically, what I have seen is that a string inverter system range about $3,500 to $4,500 less than a microinverter system. So you can imagine, if these microinverters cost, maybe $2 more for the installer from the vendor, that's good. If you're doing a 30 panel system, that's a couple $100 that it adds on there, as well as, it's going from one device being installed to multiple devices being installed. So it's more man hours involved with that process.
Okay.
But recently I became a first time homeowner and I recently went solar.
Right.
My home is 23 years old. I actually had to replace a roof as well. My system was installed 2 weeks ago. I thought I was going to be the first person in my subdivision to go solar. 2 weeks ago, I'm driving out. I believe I'm going to a customer's appointment, and I see one of my neighbors getting their solar system installed. I was like, I missed it. So, and my car could have been me. It could have been me. My car's very noticeable. It's a big, bright orange car.
Yeah.
When if I interact with any of the homeowners here, they're gonna know who that orange company is.
Right.
And so he goes, yeah, I always seen your car around, because I stopped that day. I knocked on his door. His name was John. He goes, yeah, man, I seen you, but I never actually stopped you, and I wasn't too sure what company you were with. He goes, I met with 3 other companies. They all offer the same panels. Right. And they all offer a string inverter system. He goes, what would the cost be for me to go to a microinverter system? And so that was the first for me in 4 years. So I told him, honestly, I don't see it being affordable, especially because you just made this investment with 30 panel system, right. 28 panel system. Okay. With a string inverter system. And 2 days later, you want to switch it over to a microinverter system. Yeah. He's happy, but he wishes he would have met me earlier. I wish I would have met him earlier, but he's happy with it. That's really what matters, because I'm also the communications director for the Houston Renewable Energy Group. Okay. And there we educate people to adapt renewable through education, community engagement. Okay. So that way, it's a community of people that, get involved with things that are going on in the area, just so people can learn about the solar movement, renewable energy as well, and everything involved, really saving energy. Yeah. And so what do you guys go into schools? Do you guys go to chambers? What do you guys do? So right now we're actually working on a K to 12 program. Okay. So we could stop at different school locations and interact with the youth, because that's obviously who we want to target first. Right. We're actually doing a panel next Tuesday. Okay. At the United Greenway building over there in the Allen Parkway. And so we're going to have about 4 guest speakers, all in the renewable industry. And so that way people can learn about it. If there's also people who want to be involved in getting a career in renewable, then we want to connect them with the right people as well. Okay. Are these other solar companies, or who? No. So it's just a bunch of different renewable energy people. Okay. You can name drop if you want. Cool. I don't know. Unfortunately. So example, the president, Angela, she works, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Angela, later on, what she does, she designs wind turbine farms. Oh, cool. And majority of her business is in California. Okay. Then you have Rachel, who also helps, in different industries. So, so it's people with bunch of different backgrounds. Yeah. All, putting their free time together and just helping Houston go green. Okay. Dude, we need to gather all these people up. Definitely. And bring them into the Homeowners Show studio so we can just have a panel discussion, get y'all's message out to everybody. Man. Awesome. Yeah, that would be a cool conversation. I'd love to hear more about wind and what all those different people are doing. Yeah. That sounds, especially if you guys can all at the same time. Yes. That would be really interesting. Definitely. So we were just at the Houston Green Day. Okay. We were there, and there was people for the water, Galveston water keepers and stuff like that. Yeah. The people who do water collective systems. So it's a bunch of people that actually believe in this, and that's the best part about it. That was a huge revelation for me this year. That I thought it was illegal to collect rainwater. That's what I thought, and I actually in some states it is. In some states it is. Texas, it's okay. Yeah. So I'm actually interested in learning that from my home as well. Yeah. Well, no, I'm glad you mentioned your home, because you said you got your roof replaced, and you were talking about, I think, a customer you said that had a metal roof installed. Is there a better roof for solar? As far as manufacturers or age of a roof? Well, I'm thinking composite wood, not wood, but metal, tile. There's all these different kinds of roofs. Yeah. I would imagine, I'm thinking in my brain, is one more reflective? Is one, help the system last longer? Does it make it more efficient? Does any of those things affect that at all? So what I originally looked for is obviously the age and the dignity of the roof. You know, we don't want anything that's, 10 years or older realistically. Yeah, you don't want to have to go and
take this solar system off.
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
Sure.
With that one homeowner, it was a 25-year-old roof. He knew that metal roofs last a lot longer.
Right.
Obviously, some of the issues that come with a metal roof is the screws. That every once in a while, you got to go and retighten them down, but they last forever.
Sure.
I have several homeowners from Australia who instantly want to go with a metal roof before shingles. They tell me, I don't understand Texas and shingle roofs.
Yeah.
And so me personally, I went with an Owens Corning True Duration shingles, which with our warranty that we offer is a double lifetime material and labor warranty.
Okay.
So it's on the higher end. It's a design. If I'm not mistaken, the color that I selected is a designer color. It looks great on the roof. So, it doesn't matter if it's a Spanish tile roof, it's a flat roof, if it's a metal roof, if it's a shingle roof.
Right.
It's all able to go solar.
Very cool. Okay. But none of them really affect how the solar functions or operates or anything like that.
Actually, last Saturday, I took my thermal camera outside at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And so my panels was 100 degrees. On my shingles was 153 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So the solar panels add an additional layer of protection against radiant heat, decreasing the heat load in the attic space.
Oh.
So when the AC kicks on, it's colder air running through your ducts into your home faster, which decreases the heat workload on your AC unit.
Okay.
So that was pretty interesting on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, and that was something else I heard about your company is that, because you go through and do a whole home evaluation on the power consumption, efficiency, and then you guys offer some solutions to those things as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So what does all that come with?
So it starts off with a whole home depressurizing test. So that's where the red blower door test comes in, sucks up all the air so we could see exactly what the energy reading is.
All right, back up. What is that?
It's depressurizing the entire house.
You said red blower?
It's a red blower door test. So it's like a red door that goes around the frame of the entire door.
Okay.
And it has a big fan in there.
Okay.
And it either sucks in or blows out a lot of air.
Okay.
And so from there, it has
I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Actually, I got a video. I'll show you in a second.
Okay.
I did a whole video testimonial of my experience.
Okay.
And so my home's 2,500 square feet, but the efficiency of the airflow is like a 1,800 square foot home. So it's a very efficient home.
Yeah.
As far as the airflow. They replaced all the LEDs, attic door tent, so that way the attic heat does not come into the into the living space.
Right.
Water heater blanket, LED retrofit, a smart strip for the entertainment center. Because things like your DVR, your surround sound, your router, all that's pretty much an energy vampire. It's sucking up energy
constantly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so all of this, they say that it could save a homeowner that's 10 years or older about 6,700 kilowatts a year, which is about a $700 savings.
Sure.
Mine was done July 22nd. And since then, every week I've been saving about $15 on energy weekly.
Okay.
So my first month, I saved about $80. Again, I moved into my home June 1st. So I was using a little bit over 520 kilowatts a week. Obviously, it's getting hotter now, a little warmer. My AC unit is running more. It also includes a Nest thermostat because 45% of your light bills contribute to your heating and cooling.
Right.
So I have more control over my AC unit. Right now, my AC is running about 11 hours a day. I don't know if you're aware, but they send a alert that to keep, your thermostat at 86 degrees or 83 degrees, something crazy like that.
Yes.
And so, with all that being said and done, I saved about $80 my first month just with these energy efficiency upgrades on my home. It is a 1996 build. So it's a 23-year-old home, but I saw the savings. My parents, they went solar about 3 years ago. Their home was built in 1955.
Okay.
And they're saving about $30-40 a month going solar as well.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me, with the energy efficiency.
With the energy efficiency, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so like things like the Nest, like a smart thermostat, and there's other ones out there. Like we've reviewed like the
Ecobee, the Honeywell.
I actually have the Ecobee in mine, but I've seen all the different ones. They're all very cool. I'm trying to think of some other things that help with the. Do you guys address like door sweeps and?
Yes, so we also could do that. Weather strip the house, the windows. So in certain off-one situations, our technicians do go a little bit out of their way to help a homeowner. I had one in Rosenberg, Texas, where he didn't like the reading levels that he was getting.
Right.
So he looked throughout the house. He finally found a hole behind the refrigerator in the garage. That was pretty much a window. And so he found it, he sealed it, and that made a big difference for the homeowner. The guys are great. They'll do anything to help the homeowner out.
Right.
But if it's something that they don't feel comfortable with, they'll bring it to their attention, but we would never upcharge something that we find if we don't do it.
So how much, typical cost to get a home, energy ready to start saving on that end? What does that typically cost?
Well, as far as cost, it's truly is complimentary on our end.
Okay.
If a homeowner says, I don't want none of that, it's not going to make it $1,000 cheaper on the solar side. It's complimentary. Everybody gets it. There's certain situation where the homeowner doesn't have the Ford cable for the smart thermostat.
Right.
It's still their thermostat. We're going to either leave it there for you and you can use it as a gift.
Look, it's here.
Yeah.
We can either put it in or just leave it in the box.
Yeah. And you can use it. Yeah. And, or these new builds that, that they already have LEDs from the builder. Well, we're still going to give you a care package for when you do need it.
Okay.
It is truly complimentary.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, what's the power consumption on an LED versus like an incandescent or a?
So, like a 60-watt light bulb, it's about 6 watts. Again, with my thermal camera is why I know a little bit more of the readings.
Right.
I had it where the standard condensing light bulb was like 280. A CFL was like 140. And then the LED was like 40 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me, 50 degrees. So it was, it's nice and cool. And it was crazy because it was a customer's house that I was doing an audit, and she had all 3 different light bulbs on the same fixture. Uh-huh. So it was the same light lamp, and there was different heat projected on each light bulb, which is awesome.
And so that's a big deal that you guys are trying to control, because that's adding heat to the inside of the home, which means the AC has to work harder, which means that you're going to be consuming more power, because that's the biggest vampire in the house is the AC system.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of which, my ducts around the plenum, they were not sealed. So, we also seal it with the mastic seal, so that way all the airflow that you're actually generating reaches where it needs to be.
Right.
So that way you don't have to worry about heat or cold spots, or, over here in this side of the house is cooler than it is on this side. So we go around and make sure that the AC is working the way it's supposed to.
Awesome. All right. So we reached out to some folks on Facebook here to get you some questions to see what people were wanting to know. So here's
awesome.
One that I think we were actually talking about this a little bit before the show, but this is Courtney, and she wanted to know how much would solar panels would having solar panels affect our home insurance?
So 8 out of 10 times it doesn't affect the homeowner insurance.
Right.
They changed the rules where the dwelling side of it should cover the solar side of it.
Right.
There is a handful of homeowners that, it's maybe $10 more to their policy. But 9 out of 10 times, if it's a well-known insurance company, they cover the solar panels.
Okay. So you don't have to, I think you were saying you have to have so much, though, when it comes to a solar system now.
That's with your energy provider specifically.
With your energy provider, okay.
Yeah, so that's your specifically.
Like and when he means me, like I have to have that. So
correct.
And
so they want you to have an umbrella policy where if something happens, they want you to be protected. Where I live in Houston with CenterPoint, I don't need that insurance coverage.
Right.
So my homeowner insurance didn't change one bit.
Awesome. And so what do you have to have for it? Where you're at?
Where I'm at standard homeowner insurance.
It doesn't matter.
Correct.
Yeah.
With the one that you have, they want you to have a $500 umbrella policy.
We can call them out. It's Mid-South. That's fine.
So they do that. They say to protect you.
Right.
Sometimes the homeowner will hear that $500,000 and it makes them afraid. They think it's going to spend a lot more on the insurance side of it.
Right.
I have one current customer actually that was ready to go solar. He called his insurance provider and it did go up. Maybe he said $300 a year.
Right.
So what's that? $4 a month or something like that.
Yeah,
so they were like, well, this is going to affect our savings on the solar side of it. I go, yeah, but the energy, your rate's going up a little bit more. That the $300 for your coverage, you're going to fade away with what you're spending on your energy provider regardless.
Right.
Would you rather put that $300 in extra coverage or throwing it away renting your electricity?
Right. It's closer to $10 a month, but still, it's not that much.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Here's another one from her. How much would solar panels increase the value of our home?
So typically for every dollar of energy savings, it adds about $20 in equity. So I have a homeowner out in Katy.
Not $20 in equity,
$20 in equity. So every dollar you save in electricity, about $20 in equity.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So if you're saving $2,000 a year, multiply that by $20, that's what the equity increase typically is. I have several homeowners that have solar homes within 2 years of having their solar systems. One of the things that homeowners will say, oh, this is not my forever home, or I don't think I'm going to be here more than 5 years.
Right.
Average homeowners, they're within 7 to 9 years is a typical lifespan that they're at a home. What was the question? I'm sorry.
No, it was how does it increase?
Equity.
Does it increase the value of the home?
So my coworker, not too far from here off of Rayford. He actually got a brand new build and it went up $25,000 for, which is where his solar system was after the tax credits.
Okay.
My homeowner out in Katy with a 28 panel system, it was like a $20,000 net investment, got $18,000 in his equity increase.
Okay.
I have one out in Magnolia that it actually sold for $392,000 compared to $360,000 in the same neighborhood, in the same block. You know, depending on these realtors that we also try to educate them, because they'll tell you it's not going to save you that much, or you know, it's all depending on what the comp is. Well, how is it that a home that has a $2,000 light bill that in 10 years is going to save over $20,000, it's not going to add equity to the house? This home doesn't have a light bill. New homes being built now also are being pre-wired for solar. They're also having east and west facing roofs, minimum 600 square feet, which is 40 panels.
Gotcha.
So that's already going on now that people aren't even aware about it.
Right.
But
architects and designers of these communities are just saying like, look, this is the way it's going. We can offer this to the people who are buying these homes as an incentive to buy our homes.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. So, you know, with my home, you know, I purchased it 2 months ago. I did a 36 panel system. I got a brand new roof, which is a 50 square roof, which is a large roof.
Right.
And then I decided to do upgrade to a backup battery option. So, you know, I'm actually interested in seeing my exact resale value that I'm actually going to pay to get it reappraised 2 months into my house. And the only upgrade I did was going solar.
Right.
And, you know, regardless of what the cost is for me, I'm doing that more to educate people. Say, this is what it was for me.
Right.
And I did this 2 months into my home, and I think I'm going to sell it in 8.
Yeah. Well, and I think something interesting to point out about that, especially now, like, right. I mean, and so like, this is, what is this, August of 2019. So like we have crazy low interest rates right now.
Correct.
So if you're adding immediate value to your home and then you decide to refinance your home, you could actually capture that equity in your refinance in order to get rid of your like your PMI or something like that. So it could actually be like a really smart like financial move to add something that's going to value. And I would imagine you guys even allow, I mean, well, it probably wouldn't even be up to you, but like you could roll this back into a refinance.
Yes, absolutely. I have a handful of homeowners that decide to do that. But realistically, money being so cheap on a signature loan, that is cheaper just eliminating your light bill and using that same money to pay your solar savings.
Right. Yeah. Very, very cool, man. All right. Let's see what we got. What else we got here? Let's see if she's got anything else on here. So are there different package options for the home, or is it basically like, look, we're going to try and match your kilowatt usage?
It's more,
I know we talked a little bit about inverter systems and different things like that, but like I think there's other things that you can add on to a solar system, right?
Well, the way I'm understanding that question is a package depending on the specialist that's going out to your home.
Right.
There is a few solar companies out there that talk about a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 package, where tier 1 is a 18 panel starter system or 16 panel starter system.
Okay.
A 5 kilowatt. Tier 2 will be a 8 kilowatt system, 28 panels. Tier 3. So that's what some people may interpret as a package. But that package doesn't initially eliminate your whole light bill.
Right.
Because I could look at 10 homes all wanting 18 panels, and some of them's going to be a cash flow positive. Some is going to be a 50% reduction. Some of them is going to be an 80% reduction.
Right.
So realistically, that's why we sit during the consultation, try to figure out what is your savings goal. Do you want to offset? We typically say 90%, depending on the utility provider. Because if I tell a homeowner, hey, you're never going to get a light bill, and you get a $10 light bill in the summer, you'll be mad. But if I say, hey, you may get a $20 light bill in the summer, you get a $10 light bill, you're going to laugh. Right. So realistically, you know, if a homeowner uses 15,000 kilowatts a year, we try to design it for that, you know, but sometimes a homeowner thinks that it's unlimited power.
Right.
Well, we have seen a situation where they change their lifestyle habits, or people move into the house. All of a sudden, you're using double the consumption than you were a previous year.
Right.
You know, majority of the homeowners don't change their lifestyle habits. They're putting the same Christmas lights. They're running the AC the same that they usually do in the summertime.
Leaving the TV on all day.
Exactly. So that's why we design it for 12-month consumption. And obviously, you can always add more panels or go with a few less. In my situation, the reason why I went with 36 panels is because I was fortunate enough to get the light bill consumption from the previous homeowners.
Okay.
And they averaged 1,800 kilowatts a month. about $210, I would need 42 panels for their consumption. At my previous rental house, where it was 1,500 square feet, 1,000 square feet smaller, I was averaging a little bit under 1,100 kilowatts.
Okay.
I would need 30 panels. So I like the way 36 looked in my house. I have a 4-year-old. It's a stay-at-home mom as well, my wife. And I work a lot from home. So I decided to upsize my system.
Okay.
The previous owners, it was 2 adults, 2 teenagers. Well, my consumption, because our lifestyle habits actually line up to theirs.
Gotcha.
I only use 200, 300 kilowatts less than they did the previous year. So it's right there, line, just again, because our lifestyle habits were different than theirs.
Right. Well, I think we just mentioned something. I mean, as far as when we're talking about packages, like how do you actually pay for a solar system?
So it's no money down, no upfront costs. It's a free installation, realistically. It's a signature loan, so that way you could decide whether you want to do 0% interest for 18 months, 10 or 12 years, 2.99, 15 years, 3.99, which is what I selected, what majority of my homeowners selected, because, hey, you're going to spend $200 on your light bill.
Right.
Doesn't it make sense to spend $190 on your solar fixed? So initially it's a free installation, no money down. We do have a handful of homeowners who either pull from their 401ks, who do an equity loan, which I don't always suggest, just because, again, at 2.99, it's cheap money. Yeah,
absolutely. And so, like, are you guys going to run like a credit check on these guys in order to get the financing?
Yeah, so it is a credit check. The credit rate, the interest rate on the term doesn't matter if you're 640 or 800 credit score.
Okay.
I have seen,
but you got to be in that range.
You have to be in that range, but other things go into consideration, like your debt to income ratio, how long you've been into the home, your credit band, I already said debt to income ratio, and a few other things. I had one guy that had an 800 credit score, made over $600,000 a year, but he had multiple rental properties.
Right.
Well, his debt to income ratio was tied up that he got rejected. I have homeowners who make $40,000 a year, who have great 640 credit score that get approved. So it's a per case basis. Realistically, we tell the homeowner we won't know what your payment is until you get qualified. Because in our business, we have 6 lenders.
Right.
So so if the tier 1 doesn't get you, then the second one may be able to do something for you. But they're all competitive rates.
Right.
And so that's very affordable to go solar, and it's obviously it's no prepayment penalties.
Right. Well, and just so everyone knows, I mean, like having bad credit is really, really tough because it makes it difficult to make these big financial moves that you want to make for your home. It makes it difficult to just be financially viable in this market. All right, we want to give a shout out to this week's show sponsor, Impeccable Credit Services. Is your credit 700 or below? Do you have collections, late payments, or negative items on your credit, such as tax liens, judgments? No worries. Just contact Impeccable Credit Services for all of your credit restoration needs with 2 physical locations in Houston and the Woodlands. This family-owned and operated company can assist you towards success. Just give them a call at 713-378-1500. And I encourage you guys to give, if you guys are struggling with your credit, give our friend Glamour a call over there, and she will set you up right and get you guys back on the path to financial peace. So you can, apply with guys like David over here to get yourself a solar system up on your house and start saving yourself some money. Wouldn't that be nice? So give them a call, 713-378-1500. Thank you, guys. David, man, we have some other questions that we pulled up here, and one of the ones that I was interested in is I assume that there are lots of different people producing panels and inverters and all these kinds of things. So do you guys work specifically with like a manufacturer, or are you guys pooling from like lots of different places? How does that actually come about?
So the panels that we use are LG.
LG, okay.
Everybody knows LG is a big company. They stand behind their products. Not being biased because we use them. My soundbar that I bought 10 years ago still works just as good as day one. The sellers of my home actually left the washer and dryer for us. They're LG.
LG.
The TV in our bedrooms, LG, and I bought that 5 years ago. I've only been doing this for 4.
And so Sunpro exclusively uses LG panels?
No, so they are I believe, 2 to 3 as far as the top 5 panels.
Okay.
And then we use JA Solars, which is a little bit more economic. a little bit more aggressive in pricing. But there's, Mission Solar, which is out of San Antonio. You have Sunpro Solar that also make great panels. So there's several brands. You have Q-Cell, Hovan as well.
And you guys can pull from all these.
Correct.
Okay.
But we just use LG just because of the experience that we have been having with them.
Yeah.
And, when you're talking solar to homeowners and you're comparing panels, you'll see that where LG stands at. Right. And that's why we use them.
Okay. So what's the big standout for you with LG panels?
The durability. The durability, the efficiency of it, and it's only a 0.6% deterioration a year.
Okay.
So even after 25 years, they're 86% productive.
So are you not going to, like with another panel that's not LG, are you not going to be able to do like a 25-year warranty?
With us, we still warranty it because we calculate everything. We the deterioration on that selective panel, we factor it in. When we design the production numbers, we're using 4.5 hours daily sun hours.
Okay.
So we are taking everything in consideration. Give you a perfect example. My 36 panels is going to give me right under 15,000 kilowatts a year.
Okay.
I have a homeowner that went with the same 36 panel system that's going to get right under 16,000 kilowatts a year. He has better placement than I do.
Gotcha. Well, okay, and placement, that's one that I've heard a little bit about. Mm-hmm. And when I've had a couple of solar guys come out and look at my place, one of them was really insistent on not putting the panels on my roof. Mm-hmm. They wanted to put it out in the field up on some risers and things like that. Is there a benefit to that versus it not being on the roof?
No.
Or is it because he could just place them just right? Or maybe he was just wrong. I don't know.
Well, looking at your roof, there is a bunch of different trees everywhere. So I could see where for him, a ground mount system that's just facing due south and run some trenching, whether it's, 200, 500, 1,500 feet away from your meter.
Right.
May be a simpler installation than putting, a 20 panel array on this side, a 30 panel array over here on your garage side of it, and then run the trenching. Yeah. Realistically, a ground mount system is a little bit more expensive because of the labor involved in it.
Right.
A roof mount system is much more affordable. But it's more of a preference. I have one guy out in Katy who's a truck driver who wanted, he has a great tree in the backyard that does a lot of shade for it, for the house to keep it cool. And he was opposed to removing it, obviously. And so we decided to do a ground mount system. He's a truck driver. Okay. So he has a big acreage. I forgot how big his property is, where he's able to drive through the backyard, through the ground mount system and back to the front yard, making his own U-turn entrance. And so it's more of a preference. Sure. I have one homeowner who, it was an older roof. He didn't want to replace it yet because the structure of the home wasn't the best, but obviously he still has a light bill. Right. So he decided to do a ground mount system. Okay. I have some homeowners who have property who know that they're going to build a new home later on in the future. Like one guy in Dallas had a camp, a summer camp or day camp, if I'm not mistaken. And so he wanted to put the ground mount system in the front entrance where the parents will come by and check them out because we have a great referral program. So he was doing his own marketing, another source of income with his own system in the front of the property. So it's more of a preference realistically. Okay. Very cool. Well, and what we haven't talked about yet is probably the thing that I think most people have been hearing a lot about, and that's the taxes. Mm-hmm. What's going on with the taxes on solar? I mean, like this, taxes in general can be confusing. You're not a CPA. Thank you for that, by the way. But you probably have, some knowledge as to the way that this works for the homeowner. You're obviously taking advantage of it yourself. Mm-hmm. So you have a little bit of knowledge going on. How does this work? Right off the bat, are we dealing with a credit? It's a tax credit. It's a tax credit. It's 100% tax credit. So again, I know you're not a CPA, but can you tell people what that is? Absolutely. So the way it's set up, it's where you're putting money into the ecosystem. When you go solar, first of all, you're breaking money away from the utility company. Mm-hmm. And when you go solar, the solar contractor that you're using is able to pay their employees, be in business. The vendors that they're buying their material from is able to be in business. The financing institution that you're using is able to pay their employees. Right. And a lot of new solar financing is popping up because of that. So it adds a lot of money to the ecosystem. Right. And because of that, 30% of the investment cost of the system, dollar per dollar, you will get back when you file your taxes. Right. Obviously, it's a tax credit, not a refund. So in my parents' situation, my mom and dad are 65, 66. They went solar 3 years ago. My dad retired about 3 years ago. Right. So he doesn't pay any Social Security taxes, anything like that. My mom's the only one working. So in 2016, she paid when they went solar with their 40 panel system, they had about a $13,000 tax credit. Okay. Well, she only paid about $6,000 to her withholding. So
Okay.
the $6,000 that she paid through her withholding was refunded to her. What she was supposed to pay throughout the year, throughout her withholding, was released from the tax credit portion of it. So year one, she got $6,000.
Okay.
She applied it to the loan.
Okay.
Year two, she paid the same. She made the same. She got the remaining balance and applied it to the loan. Well, I'm the youngest out of six, and the house that we grew up, my parents been there for 22 years. So they instantly loved the idea of going solar. They saw the financial benefit of it. It was a way to invest money that they were spending somewhere else. In the next 10 years, they have control over it.
Right.
So when I presented to them, they went to do it. I told them, look, I'm the youngest out of six. Talk to everybody first. I don't want nobody looking at me sideways. So my sister decided the next day that they were ready to go solar. And they were only in their house for a year. Okay. It's her and my brother-in-law. He's a constable at Precinct 4. And so they went with the 18-panel system. Obviously smaller. That tax credit was like $6,500. Well, her and my brother-in-law made more than that and paid more than that in taxes, that they got all that back year one.
Okay.
I have a homeowner with a $65,000 system. I believe it was like 70 panels. Had a $21,000 tax credit. He called me in January of this year. Hey, David, I got all my money back. How do I apply it to the loan?
Right.
So in my situation, with my system, I'm getting more of a tax credit than what I pay in taxes, so my situation is going to get split. You have up to 5 years to use up that whole tax credit. Okay. And then after 2022, it drops. But majority of my homeowners take advantage of it the first year. Majority of the financing, the way it's set up, is they know you're going to get that tax credit. They want you to apply it. So your monthly payment's only based on 70% of the investment, not the full 100%.
Because they fully expect you to use that money to apply it to the loan.
Back. Correct. Okay. That's why it's cheaper than an equity loan or rolling it into some kind of other, anywhere else you could pull money from.
Right. So what happens if you don't apply that money to the loan?
So the financing company that we use, any balance from the tax credit that doesn't get applied, it's on 18 months, 0% interest. Okay. So you have 2 tax seasons pretty much to apply it over.
Gotcha.
Anything that you don't apply rolls over to the principal balance at about $7, $1,000 is typically what the financing rate is.
Right.
So, if they have a $10,000 tax credit, they decide to upgrade their house or do something else with it, then their monthly solar financing goes up about $70.
Okay.
So, but we always recommend to apply it back. That's why you're getting it. That's why your monthly payment is the way it is. But you have that option.
Okay. And so, I don't know. So what I understand is like over the next 4 years, they're stepping down
Correct.
The amount. So what is it right now?
So since 2015, 2016, it's been 30%.
Okay.
This is the last year, the 30% is going to drop down to 26%.
Okay.
The following year drops down to 22%. If I'm not mistaken, I think by then we're in 2022, that's when it goes away.
So, and this may be a little technical, but like, so if I get it now and I can't get the full credit back this year, does it step me down to the 26%?
No,
so
I'm get the amount of
grandfathered in at 30% this year.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So like I said, I moved into my home June 1st. I signed the contract for my solar system June 26th. I just got installed last week. My PTO should be sometime this week. But I'm getting that full 30% tax credit. Whatever I don't use from it,
right,
it rolls over to next year at whatever that amount was.
Okay. And you were also telling me you've got kind of a cool battery situation going on at your house. What?
So I decided to go with the Tesla Powerwall 2. Okay. Yeah, it's what I decided to upgrade to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it took some convincing on the wife end, but I was able to convince her on it. She saw it as it was more of a toy. Sure. Than anything else, but luckily I talked to my neighbors and they said during Hurricane Harvey they lost power for 3 days. Yeah, she's not complaining anymore. Oh yeah, but yeah, so it was a nice upgrade for the Tesla Powerwall. Wasn't too sure if we will ever use it. Right now, I have a feeling we may use it. But yeah, it's a Tesla Powerwall too. So does it engage before you guys start pulling from the grid? So with the Tesla Powerwall, you actually have that option to program it however you want. Okay. So there's a few utility companies, majority of the co-ops, that give you a wholesale rate on the buyback. So we could program that before you send any power back to the grid at a fraction of the cost. It will charge up your battery. Right. And then that excessive after that, you'll send it back to utility company. And at night, before you pull from utility company, you'll pull from the battery. But that's again in that specific situation. Mine, I have it set up that in case if it's a blackout, automatically within a second it kicks on. Everything that's in my house that's 120 volts, it's able to operate as normal. Okay. Majority of my house is electric. Mine is the furnace and the water heater. Okay. So the only things I'm not able to use is a stove, the The stove, obviously, the AC unit, and the dishwasher and the dryer.
Okay.
But besides everything else, I'm able to use my house.
Because those don't use 120.
Correct.
Okay. Everything that doesn't use 120, you can't operate.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Do they have systems where you could still operate the air conditioner and
more batteries?
More batteries.
More batteries.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where you get
stack them on top.
Yeah, that's where you get 3, maybe 4 batteries.
Oh wow.
Yeah, where it makes more sense having a window unit as a backup option or portable unit as 120. You know, originally my thought process behind it is that I want to have half the house being able to function. I have my office media room that's connected to a master bedroom that has a master bathroom there.
Right.
I want that area to be where, in case we black out, we're in the back of the house, we're good there. But I was able to actually power the entire house minus the major appliances.
Yeah. And so was that something separate that you did with your solar, or is that something you did kind of like?
I got it at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the same time.
But you had to purchase that through Tesla.
No, I got that through my company.
Through your company.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys installed Tesla batteries and things like that. So do you guys also install like the power walls for like the cars and things like that?
We don't.
You don't?
Not on that.
That's
just the
Tesla
battery.
just does that.
Yeah.
Okay. So can the battery integrate with that?
Yeah,
then?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just
because I have several homeowners who they tell me, well, I'm gonna get a Tesla next year.
Right.
Well, what they do is they added a few extra more panels, or I haven't had anyone with a Tesla and a battery power watt just yet.
Okay.
I'm excited for that homeowner. If that's you, give me a call.
We want to hook you up.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, it's all integratable.
Okay. So I guess in theory, could a solar system charge a Tesla car?
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So when people talk a grid type system or off grid, they typically think that it's shutting off the utility company and my house is going to work forever. Right? That's not the case. You need the utility companies. So unless it's off grid, where it's really a shed in the woods and there's no lines running to it, and you have that there, that's off grid system.
Right.
Anything else residential is not truly off grid,
right?
Because it's net metering. You need the utility companies to send them your overproduction. And I forgot where I was going with this. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I've actually you inspired a question already. So with that, something we haven't gotten into yet is how power companies interact with people who have solar, right? And so with me, we were talking about my power company. What was it again? Golly. Mid-South. Thank you. All right. Mid-South. So I can't they won't buy my stuff back.
They buy it back at about 6-7 cents a kilowatt.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Well, they don't buy it, but they just give me a credit on my account.
So there's I'm not going to say there is one utility company that actually sends you a check anytime your credits accumulate to $50 or greater.
Okay.
But they're buying it back at 4 cents, less than 4 cents a kilowatt on the real time.
Right. So that's a bunch that you're having to put back. Yeah. Correct.
They changed that rule last year. January 1st. So for the homeowners that went solar with that co-op prior to it are getting dollar for dollar, and they're getting a $50 check every quarter to every 6 months.
Right.
The homeowners that got their system activated with that same co-op after last year, January 1st, they're getting a 4 cents real time. So that means that a homeowner cannot offset 100% of the system. For that specific utility company, we usually typically range about 50%.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the way the human brain works, that when you tell them 50%, they're going to tell you, I want 100% or nothing at all. Right. I don't want a light bill and then a solar payment. Well, no, the whole point is that's your only utility option going with them. So why not offset the power that you're consuming during the day with your solar system and just get what you need from them at nighttime? And so that's with that specific co-op where they changed the rules because more people were going solar. And it's crazy because that same utility company just bought like a $60 million solar farm in Louisiana. So, we tell homeowners, you're paying for solar, you just don't have it.
Right.
And these utility companies, they're investing into these solar farms. They're getting these tax credits. They're sending you this green energy. And then you're gonna pay off their system. Yeah. Now it's free profits for them.
Right.
That's insane.
But it's the way it works.
Realistically,
they're not stupid.
No, not at all.
They're in business. Yeah, and something else we were talking about earlier is I think a misconception that a lot of people might have is that eventually I'm going to get to the point where I don't have a bill from my power company, and that's just not the case, right?
Again, that's all.
It depends on if you have credits and things like that.
Your utility company.
Right.
Some of my homeowners from 2016 haven't paid a light bill in 2 years.
Right.
You know, that homeowner that's with the 70 panel system that has a $3,000 credit. Yeah, it's obviously excessive system. But no, you could initially be billless forever.
Right.
Realistically, I have a homeowners, again, 1 year, 2 years, that haven't paid a single dollar to the light company.
Right.
And again, because we make the house more energy efficient. They're using what they typically use, whether it's 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 kilowatts a year. They're staying in that range.
Right.
You know, so the only...
Well, I mean, like me, for instance, I mean, like, because if I were to have one and then I was producing enough where I'm getting enough credits through Mid-South, even then I would still, like, I'm not pulling any power from the grid. I'm still going to be charged that pole charge.
Some of them do have a base fee.
Right.
So if I'm not mistaken, I believe yours has a $10 base fee.
I think something like that.
Yeah. So the lowest I could get your light bill may be $10. Out in College Station, I believe it's like $19.99 a base fee. So we cannot go under that. That's whatever they charge you just for having their meter on your property.
Yeah. No, I just don't want people going into this going like, I can eventually just get rid of them and like, they don't have to pay them any more money. But like, you know, you're still going to be giving them money.
Yeah. So, well, not so much.
It depends on the company.
Yeah.
Right.
So in my situation with CenterPoint, I'm pretty sure I oversized a system with 36 panels that I should never have a light bill, regardless if I didn't have a battery system. You know, Reliant, TXU, Green Mountain, they're doing a $1 per dollar buyback.
Right.
So, you know, they're giving you whatever your overproduction is. I believe right now it's about 13 cents a kilowatt. And they're crediting your light bill for that. So you're still getting a paper statement, a summary. And on that summary, it tells you how much energy you consume from them, how much energy you overproduce and send to them.
Gotha.
So they'll send you a paper statement that says information only, your account has credits. You're billless.
Right.
And I do have homeowners 1, 2, 3 years that haven't had a single light bill. They're only paying their financing system on the solar system.
Right. Which, I mean, the way you guys arrange that, it ends up being pretty similar to what they're paying on their light bill.
Correct.
Right. So, I mean, like, is between those two, I mean, the credits versus a buyback, is there one that's better, like, tax-wise maybe? Or is it like...
Well, the credit or buyback, what are you talking about?
Well, because you were saying there's some that like, well, if you go over $50, they'll just send you a check. Whereas this company has a credit.
Gotcha. So that one utility company that actually gives you a check anytime your credits are $50 or greater.
Right.
I always tell homeowners apply it back because they have a $10 base fee.
Okay.
You can go out to eat if you want to. But see, then what happens is, where you could have gave them $100 back in checks, where you would have had credits for summer. Now you're paying a little summer difference.
Gotcha.
And then I have a homeowner tell me, hey, my light bill came out $40-$50. Well, did you get a check? Yeah. Did you apply it? No.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So
that's where it went.
Yeah. I prefer the credit term.
Right.
Because we don't design the system as far as an investment. You're not trying to get $500 or $1,000, you know, every year from your solar system. No, you want to offset what you're spending anyways. And instead of renting your power, you own it.
Okay.
And so, you know, we don't design a system to have more than $300-$400 worth of credits at any given time because you're going to eat them up in the summer.
Right.
I'd rather have a homeowner pay $20-$40 those 4 months out the season than have a $300 credit that they're never going to actually use.
Right. Interesting. Okay. That makes sense to me. Well, and let me ask you, out of everything that we've talked, because we've covered a lot, what do you think is probably like the biggest misconception that people have when it comes to solar?
It's free and the government's giving you grants. No one's coming to your house to put solar panels for free.
Right.
To eliminate your light bill.
Right.
That's one of the hardest things that homeowners are so misinformed. Or, you know, there's a lot of clickbait information that you see online that talks about, you know, Texas homeowners are getting paid to go solar.
Yes.
That's not the case.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that's clickbait. You know, it's a lead source. They're going to go in there. You're going to type in your information and your contact information is going to go to several companies.
Right.
That lead generation company, it's either going to sell your information exclusive to one solar company for $100 for your phone number and email, or it's going to get sold to a bunch of different companies that have $10, $15, $20 for that lead. And so when I go to those homeowners, the first thing I ask, how did you hear about us? Oh, I saw something on Facebook. Oh, you didn't see Sunpro. You saw one of those ads.
Right.
So the first thing I have to let you know, hey, it's not free. This is the way it really works.
Yeah.
Even with senior citizens, sometimes they think that even for being a senior citizen, it's free for them. That's not the case. You know, there's a tax credit because, again, you're applying money to the ecosystem. You're taking control over how, you know, you power your home. You're breaking from the light company. And you're doing something a little bit better for it. And obviously making environmental impact is just a plus.
Right.
But the main reason why people go solar is because, first, it makes financial sense.
Sure.
But that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions. Or that it's a grid tied system or off grid and you don't need to have the utility company involved.
Yeah.
Those two.
Okay. Interesting. And this has all been really, really good information. I hope everybody's been paying attention because you've thrown a lot at us.
A lot, yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
and it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and anything else that we haven't covered yet?
So, a lot of homeowners, there's a sticker shock when you go solar. You know, they ask you how much is it. If I tell you $10,000, oh my God, that's a lot of money. I'm still lying to you because it's not 10,000, it's more.
Yeah.
But that's just the way the human brain is programmed to work.
Right.
You know, what I tell homeowners all the time, imagine if I was a financial advisor and I told you, stop putting your money over here where there's no return, you have nothing to show for it, and put it over here back into your home where you're going to have control, build equity, and it has an endpoint. Which one will you do it? But because my shirt says the Solar Pro, I'm the solar guy, I'm the enemy, right?
Right.
And so, that's what I tell homeowners all the time is the way the money moves.
Okay.
You know, you're going to spend it regardless one way or another. The other misconception that I have quite a bit, and I'm drawing now a blank because I had it ready. We'll come back to it.
No, it's fine. So, I mean, like $10,000, that does sound like what
yeah. So what I was going with it is, imagine if I told you, hey, you could lock in your rate at 6 cents a kilowatt.
Okay.
$180 a month. 1,500 kilowatts. And once you in 15 years, once you get to the endpoint, you're not paying it no more. You'll jump on it. Right.
All right.
But it's hard for homeowners to understand, hey, I'm gonna spend $20,000 in 10 years. I can spend 18 going solar.
Right.
Or, sometimes the homeowner thinks going solar is instantly savings the month one. Where sometimes, again, depending on your energy rate, that's what varies the saving side of it.
Right.
So, if you're paying 9-10 cents a kilowatt, yeah, there is a little out-of-pocket difference. But going solar is not so much to have an instant savings day one. It's, in the 10 years, you're going to spend this money one way or another. It's better putting it back into your pocket.
Right. Well, not only that, the equity on the property. I mean, like you're kind of getting phantom income that way as well.
Correct.
So what does like an average solar system cost for 3-2 home?
And that's going back to there's no such thing as an average.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But statistics show that in the greater Houston area, homeowners are going with about 28, 30 panel system. That's typically a 8 to a 10 kilowatt system. That's for some people using between 12 to 1,300 kilowatts a month. That's for those 2,000 summer months and those, 800 winter months.
Right.
That's typically the average system. Then again, when my rental home, that's what I would have needed.
Okay.
Then you have homes that are new construction or people that just moved into the home that they say, I want to wait a year before I go solar. Why? You're going to spend at least $100 of power every single month. Why not get a starter pack system? You can start off small with 8 panels, 12 panels, and always add to it as you get a better understanding of how much power you use. With us, we offer lifetime monitoring. So you have your smartphone that communicates with your solar system that shows you in real time how much power you're consuming and producing. So you're not wasting energy cooling an empty house. We give you all the tools to be more energy conscious.
Right.
And so that's, even if it's a brand new home, you can still go solar. There's no reason to wait.
So so I say I do want to do like a starter pack, which is an 8-panel system, and then I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. I want to go, full solar. Can I then roll that into a new loan if I add on to that system, or am I going to have to have like 2 separate loans running if I want to upgrade that system?
I'm not sure on that one, to be quite honest with you. Because majority of the companies, they don't want you to have multiple loans.
Sure, yeah.
Just because you're already tied down to one. So on that one, I have had a customer that after Hurricane Harvey, she had a settlement with the insurance company.
Right.
And she went with a 20-panel starter system cash. Obviously, it's not going to offset their entire bill. She just wants to start off with that. A year later, she got her credit situated a little bit better, and she was able to roll it into the financing. Well, credit and financing was still new to her, that she got approved up to the max, but she ain't want to use that max. She decided to add another 20 panels.
Oh, wow.
This year, she paid off the other loan from last year. She decided to add a power wall and 10 more panels.
Oh, my goodness.
So you have control over how you want to add more. Again, it's easier to add when you know you need them than to take them. You can't take them off if you don't need them.
Right. And I imagine like what you were talking about before, it's easier to add on to like a microinverter system versus what was it?
A string inverter.
String inverter.
Right.
Thank you. I'm learning all the words
All the new
today.
terms.
I can go work for you now.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yes. All right, man. Anything else we need to, I'm sure there's lots of other stuff we could talk about, but anything that you can think about that we haven't talked about tonight?
When a homeowner looks into solar, a lot of people think it's a bad thing to make a same day decision.
Right.
Majority of my homeowners are same day homeowners.
Right.
And as long as they have a clear understanding of what
Meaning you've explained it to them, they make a decision right then.
And they never met me before.
Right.
Regardless if I'm the first person or 10th person that they met. We with our platform, we set it up where the customer understands it thoroughly, and as long as the homeowner understands what are the risks involved, how you protect it by going solar, the material and the installation process, and the affordability, then you can make an educated decision at the end of a 1 hour consultation, regardless if it is a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 system.
Right.
One of my biggest installations was a 125 panel system. $125,000. The homeowner had a $5,000 kilowatt average light bill, about $500 a month.
Right.
They decided to go solar the same day. They were in their late 60s, early 70s. I was like, wow. And to be quite honest with you, I didn't expect for them to purchase that. But that doesn't change the way we're going to interact with the homeowner.
Right.
I treat them the same way I treated every other homeowner. I thank them for the time. I go, okay, guys, let me know. We'll go from there. So I thanked them and I left to my next appointment. They call me back. Hey, David, we want to do it. I was shocked.
Right.
And so then I realized, there is no real age group for people going solar. You have people in their 60s and their 70s that say, I'm too old to get a 25-year investment. Again, this is a 25-year warranty.
Right.
That's what they think. I should have done this when I was younger. Then you have people who are in their 30s, 40s. This is not my forever home. You're going to pay power regardless for 8 years. Right. Why not have control over it? And I don't have a financial background of homeowners. I don't have a bunch of doctors going solar, a bunch of lawyers, a bunch of chefs. It's regular people. Right. Realistically, when we go out to a nice subdivision in the middle of Houston, they are less likely to go solar than somebody out in the countryside. Okay. Just because for one, there's somebody coming out to the house. So they're happy about that. But no, they understand the money. It's easier to understand. And the hardest people to convince to go solar, actually, let me take that back. You don't have to convince nobody to go solar. The numbers make sense. Right. And so, but the people that have the hardest time making a decision are usually engineers. Sometimes they're too smart for their own good that they miss the simple stuff. And I have seen it where they start breaking these numbers down in ways that it's actually not even the way that it actually is. Right. And so, a lot of engineers actually miss out on the savings, focusing so much. I had one guy that said that the devil's in the details. I think that's the expression. Sure. Yeah. And so, they analyze it and they miss out on good opportunities. Right. Then you have people who don't analyze every single thing that way, but they're saving $2,000 a month. A year. So that's the funny thing about it that I have seen. Yeah, and I think some people do have like analysis paralysis, where like they feel like they can't get a handle on it, and so it's just I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like I can understand it, or there's too many variables, or there's too much of this, and so I can't wrap my brain around it. They feel like they can't do it justice, and so they just won't make a decision. Absolutely. So I had one guy. I believe he was a professor at Rice University, if I'm not mistaken. This was maybe 6 months ago, brand new to the house. And so he's buying all these fancy appliances. He's doing all these different things to the house. And so I told him, go with a starter pack system, 18 panels. I forgot what the payment option was on that. So he tells me, you know what, David, I'm not going to do it because with the interest rate, I'm not really saving this and that. And I told him, well, you just bought a $200,000 home on a 30-year term. That's a $470,000, $650,000 home. Right. But you didn't say that thing with that. Why does it matter with solar side of it? Right. And it just shocks me when people see it that way, but they don't see their home that way. Right. It's just crazy. All right. So something you mentioned just triggered a question in my head. So we've got these 25-year warranties on these products.
So say this isn't my forever home. I'm only planning on being here 5 years.
The warranties are transferable.
Transferable.
Yeah. As long as the seller and the new homeowner tells us within 60 days.
Okay.
That's just back in paperwork process that if we miss that deadline, that's out of our control.
Right.
But you can transfer the warranties.
And as many times until the 25 years is up, or?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I haven't had that occur more than once.
Right.
It's a handful of homeowners actually sold their systems. I haven't had anybody, that same house being sold twice. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's definitely a good question.
Yeah, 25 years is a long time. I mean, sometimes
definitely.
The house can change hands like 6 or 7 times. Well, man, we're a little bit past our time that we usually take, but we want to make sure and get in what we do with all of our guests, which is called the Final Four. The Final Four. Kevin's not here to sing it for us, but this is the same 4 questions that we ask all of our guests. I hope you are prepared because they're extremely difficult.
Let's do it.
And testing. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What is the one tool you won't leave the home without?
My drone.
Your drone.
My drone.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are you flying?
The Maverick Air.
Nice.
Yeah, the Maverick Air. I use it multiple times a day. Makes the job so much easier.
Heck yeah.
Customers love seeing these aerial shots. It breaks the ice that much more.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I get to play with the toy every single day.
Yeah. Now, I don't think any government officials are listening. Do you have your drone pilot license?
Yes, I do.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
How was that test?
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Little to do with the drone.
Don't fly it over an airport.
There we go.
What's the limit? You can only go like...
They have it about 400 feet.
That's what I thought.
It's the cap, but you can turn it off if you get permission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like the drone will tell you too.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
it won't let you go past that 397 mark. You got to turn it off in order to go.
Awesome. All right. Question number 2. How do you wind down at the end of a long day?
Hang out with my son. I have a 4-year-old. He loves solar as much as I do.
Nice.
I started doing solar when he was born. I have pictures with him going through different Sunpro signs throughout the process, and he's my best friend, and we hang out every morning, every night together.
Fantastic. What do you guys typically do?
Everything, anything. He likes painting right now. Loves bike riding.
Okay.
I'm a big boxing sports fan.
Okay.
So he likes to box. When we're watching boxing, he likes to go get his, not wrestling belts. He actually has boxing replica belts. He got the little kid-sized trunks, the gloves and everything. So he sits there, tries to box as well. But he's very smart. He just loves talking.
Does he have a favorite boxer?
Canelo, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's his favorite boxer.
Nice.
And then we also watch wrestling, and Roman Reigns is his favorite, which is weird because my son's name's Roman.
Okay.
But I did not name him because of wrestling. That was
Just
not the
happy
situation.
circumstance.
Yeah. I'm a big Fast and Furious fan, and Roman actually came from that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the actual origin.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. What is a job that you have walked away from? Now, I'll tell you, this has been a bit of a controversial question on the show because some people take it as what's a career I walked away from. What we intended was what's maybe like a project around the home that maybe you tried to tackle and couldn't do yourself. You had to bring in a professional. So you can take it either way you want, but end of the day, what is a job that you walked away from?
That's a hard one. I jump into everything first and I think about it, the process later on. So when I have walked away from something, it's probably because I didn't have a resolution for it. But like you said, if it's something around the house that started and didn't finish, I get the right person for the job.
Right.
So it's very, very rare that I don't finish something because I'll figure out how to get it done.
A little YouTube?
A little bit of YouTube, a little bit of, like you said, ask somebody that knows.
Right.
And bring them along. But yeah, that's a hard one to answer, actually.
We don't like to talk about the ways in which we
gave
failed.
up. We failed a lot. We just don't bring it up.
All right. 4th and final question. What is the best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
I have 2.
Oh, 2. Okay, that's fine. Double down since you kind of you danced around the last one.
Yeah. So my cousin told me when I was 12, hope for the best and expect the worst.
All right.
So that's pretty much what I live by. I go to every situation, very positive, ready to give it all. Right. But at anything, something may go wrong that's out of my control and expect it.
Right.
You can't control what life throws at you, but you can handle how you handle it and get through it.
Okay.
And then when I was 20, get into renewable energy. I don't remember that guy's name. He was in his early 80s. He may not even be here with us, but he dramatically changed my life. And because of that, that was 10 years ago. The last 5 years have been great. My family, our lifestyle changed. Realistically, that was why.
That's awesome.
Because of that. And so my mentality is I want to help other people, educate them, and guide them. I have people older than me, about 10 years, calling me mentors, which is crazy weird.
Right.
But yeah, it's all because of the advice that I was given at 13 and 20.
Yeah. It's crazy how in a moment like that, someone can speak something into your life that just completely transforms everything. So, and how powerful those moments can be.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes we don't realize that we actually have that ability to speak that into other people's lives, so it makes me want to be really careful with my words.
Definitely.
I don't want to change somebody for the worst, but yeah, I mean, like it's crazy how that can happen.
Yeah.
And like, you're like, this guy changed my life. I can't remember his name, but I remember exactly what he said to me.
And the other one, it was when I was 16. I was working at a Wendy's at a fast food restaurant as a cashier, and I met the manager from Radio Shack. They're not around no more.
Oh yeah.
He told me, "You're too smart to work here." He goes, "Come work with me." I go, "You got to be 18 to work there." He was like, "Don't worry about it. I'll get you in." So it took him about 3 months.
Yeah.
And that was my first real job. It taught me, sales interaction, merchandising, running the stores, operations, etc. And that was 4 years that I was with that company. And that manager left, and about 6 years after that, I actually met him at another place we worked together.
Oh, wow.
So and now he actually lives like 5 minutes from me.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
So that's about 3 people that actually gave me some great advice.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So the actual last question, which is the secret question of the final 4, is if people want to find you, how they get a hold of you.
So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it's David the Solar Pro. Again, that's David the Solar Pro. You pretty much going to see the little cartoon in the orange car.
Right.
And that's going to lead you to every social media account that I have.
Okay.
At David the Solar Pro.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
This has been fantastic.
You actually forgot to bring up the offer we have for your listeners.
I'm so sorry. So what we have an offer for the show, for the episode. What do you got for us, Dave?
So for every homeowner that actually calls and sets an appointment through the home show, you're actually going to get $25 just to learn about solar. Think about that. $25 just to learn about it. If you decide to go solar, you're going to get an additional $1,000 off your system, all because you're listening to the Homeowner Show, sorry.
Oh, you're good now. We'll go by any name. Just listen. That's all we ask. Yeah, so we'll link all this up in the show notes. So give him a call. Look him up on all the social media accounts. Let him know that you heard about it on the Homeowner Show, and we'll get you guys hooked up with $25.
Awesome, guys. I'm excited to educate y'all.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I encourage everyone to at least go and learn as much as you can about this topic. It's an important one. And if you feel like you can't understand it, call David. He'll educate you and get you all set up. Man, thanks again for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yep. And again, guys, if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. But again, you probably won't pay attention too much on Twitter, but we're over there for you guys. That's all you'll do. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. See you.